Hey, hello, I'm Tunesy, if you couldn't tell by the channel name, of course. Um, so funny story. um, while I was waiting for, the, what is it, the Montana video to freaking upload onto YouTube, well, not upload, but like, be checked, um, I fell asleep. So I must have been tired. I don't know. But I woke up, and it's freaking 4 o'clock in the morning because I wasn't able to record this video. Um, that's freaking but it's okay. Um, I just didn't want to like catch up on anything and like record it in the morning. So it is kind of like morning, but like not that morning. Um, and yeah, I hopefully this one's short and I could just ski through this one. So I'm not gonna talk that much because I do look like a mess. I have a bedhead and my hair's all messed up, and you can tell I just woke up. Anyways, today's state is Nebraska, and today's song of the day is Killer Cars by Radiohead. The genre is alternative rock. And yeah, today's day freaking 27. We're almost at 30. Um, let's get started right away. Like I said, today's day is Nebraska. I don't know exactly where in Nebraska, but yeah. I think it's taking place somewhere in the night. It's somewhere. It's in the 19th. It's in the 20th century. So yeah. Um, yeah. It's about Charles Starkweather, where I guess he murdered multiple people. And yeah. Charles Raymond Starkweather was born in Lincoln, Nebraska on November 24th, 1938, the child of Guy and Helen Arnold Starkweather. Starkweather attended Saratoga Elementary School, Irving Junior High School, and Lincoln High School. In contrast to his family life, Starkweather later recalled nothing positive about his time at school. He was born with Genu varum, a mild birth defect that caused his legs to be misshapen, and claimed he was teased by classmates because he had speech impediment, although his teacher said he was never teased. As he grew older and stronger, the only subject in which Starkweather excelled was physical education, where he found an outlet for his rage against those who bullied him. Starkweather then began to bully those who had once picked on him. Eventually, he felt rage against anyone he disliked. Starkweather went from being one of the most well-behaved teenagers in the community to one of the most troubled. His high school friend, Bob Von Bush, would later recall, "He could be the kindest person you've ever seen. He'd do anything for you if he liked. He was a hell of a lot of fun to be around." 2. Everything was just one big joke to him, but he had this other side. He could be mean as hell, cruel. If he saw some poor guy on the street who was bigger than he was, better looking, or better dressed, he would try to take the poor down to his size. By the time Starkweather dropped out of high school, his parents and family were reportedly afraid of him due to his violent outbursts. In 1956, at 18, Starkweather was introduced to 13-year-old Carol Ann Fugate. Starkweather dropped out of high school in his senior year and took a job at a newspaper warehouse because it was near Fugate's school. He began to visit her every day after school. Starkweather taught Fugate how to drive, and one day she crashed the car belonging to Starkweather's father, who banished Starkweather from the family home. Starkweather quit his warehouse job and became a garbage collector. Starkweather began developing a nihilistic worldview, believing that his current situation was the final determinant of how he would live the rest of his life, doing whatever he desired. He began plotting bank robberies and settled on a personal philosophy: dead people are always on the same level. On November 30th, 1957, Starkweather became angry at Robert Culvert, a service station attendant in Lincoln, for refusing to sell him a stuffed animal on credit. He returned several times during the night to purchase small items until finally brandishing a shotgun. He forced Colvett to give him $100 from the till. He then abducted and drove Culvert to a remote area, where they struggled over the gun, injuring Culvert before Starkweather killed him to several shots in the head. On January 21st, 1958, Starkweather went to Fougate's home. Fougate's mother and stepfather, Velda and Marion Bartelet, told him to stay away. He fatally shot them, then clubbed to death their 2-year-old daughter, Betty Jean. He hid the bodies in the outhouse and chicken coop behind the house. Starkweather later said that Curl was there the time, but she said Starkweather told her that if she cooperated with him, her family would be safe. Otherwise, they would be killed. A note reading, "Everybody is sick with the flu," was placed in the family's home window. The pair remained in the house until shortly before the police, alerted by Fougate's suspicious grandmother, arrived on January 27th. When the police broke in, they found no one there, and the house was in apparent order. A few days later, Charles' brother Rodney and his friend Bob Von Bush searched the house and premises, finding the stashed bodies. The police issued an alert to pick up both Starkweather and Fugate. Starkweather and Fugate drove to the farmhouse of August Mayer, one of his family friends who lived in Bennett, Nebraska. Starkweather killed him with a shotgun, blasted the head. He also killed Mayer's dog. Fleeing the area, the pair drove their car into the mud and abandoned it. When Robert Jensen and Carol King, two local teenagers, stopped to give them a ride, Starkweather forced them to drive back to an abandoned storm cellar in Bennett. He shot Jensen in the back of the head. He attempted to rape King, but King put up too much resistance for him to do so. He became angry with her and fatally shot her as well. Starkweather later admitted to shooting Jensen, but claimed that Fugate shot King. Fugate said she had stayed in the car the entire time. The two fled Bennett in Jensen's car. Starkweather and Fugate drove to a wealthy section of Lincoln, where they entered at the home of Chester Laurie Ward and his wife, Clara. Starkweather stabbed their maid, Ludmila Liliana Funzel, to death, then waited for Lair and Claire to return home. Starkweather killed the family dog by breaking its neck to keep it from alerting the wards. Clara arrived first, alone, and was also stabbed to death. Starkweather later admitted to having thrown a knife at Clara, but insisted that Fugate had stabbed her numerous times, killing her. Lenora Ward returned home that evening. Starkweather shot and killed him. While Starkweather and Fugate were in the house, the Ward's newspaper arrived, and they cut out the front page pictures of themselves and Fugate's dead family. These pictures were found on them later, casting doubt on Carol's claim that she didn't know her family was dead. Starkweather and Fugate filed Ward's black 1956 Packard with stolen jewelry from the house and fled Nebraska. Law enforcement agencies in the region sent their officers on a house-to-house search for the perpetrators. Governor Victor Anderson contacted the Nebraska National Guard, and the Lincoln Chief of Police called for a block-by-block search of the city. After several sightings of Starkweather and Fugate were reported, the Lincoln Police Department was accused of incompetence for being unable to capture the pair. Vigilant gangs were formed, and local sheriff Merle Carnop started forming a posse by arming men he found in bars. Needing a new car because of Ward's Packard having been identified, the couple came upon traveling Merle Collison sleeping in his Buick along the highway outside Douglas, Wyoming. After Collison was awakened, he was fatally shot. Starkweather later accused Fugate of performing a coup de grace after his shotgun jammed. Stargate claimed Fugate was the most trigger-happy person he had ever met. Fugate denied ever having killed anyone. The salesman's car had a parking brake, which was something new to Starkweather. While he attempted to drive away, the car stalled because the brake had not been released. He tried to restart the engine, and Joe Sprinkle stopped to help. Starkweather threatened him with a rifle, and an altercation broke out. At the moment, Natrona County Sheriff Deputy William Romer arrived on the scene. Fugate ran to him, yelling something to the effect of, "It's Starkweather! He's going to kill me!" Starkweather drove off and was involved in a car chase with Romer, Douglas Police Chief Robert Ansile, and Converse County Sheriff Earl Heflin, exceeding speeds of 100 miles per hour. He bullet fired by Heflin shattered to the windshield, glass cut flying glass cut Starkweather deep enough to cause bleeding. He stopped, surrendered, and was taken into custody near Douglas on January 29th, 1958. Starkweather chose to be extradited from Wyoming to Nebraska. He and Fugate arrived there in late January 1958. He believed that either state would have executed him. He was not aware, however, that Mallard Simpson, Wyoming's governor, opposed the death penalty. Starkweather first said that he had kidnapped Fugate and that she had nothing to do with the murders. However, he changed the story several times. He testified against her at her trial, saying that she was a willing participant. Fugate was always maintained that Starkweather was holding her hostage by threatening to kill her family, claiming she was unaware they were already dead. Judge Harry A. Spencer did not believe Fugate was held hostage by Starkweather, as he determined she had numerous opportunities to escape. When Starkweather was first taken to the Nebraska penitentiary after his trial, he said that he believed that he was supposed to die. He said, "If I were to be executed, then Fugate should be as well." Starkweather was convicted after the jury deliberated for 22 hours for the murder of Jensen, the only murder for which he was tried. On May 23rd, 1958, he was sentenced to death, and Starkweather was executed in the electric chair of the Nebraska State Penitentiary in Lincoln, Nebraska, at 12:04 a.m. on June 25th, 1959. Half an hour before the execution, the doctor who was supposed to pronounce Starkweather dead, Bay A. Finkel, suffered a fatal heart attack. Starkweather gave no last words, but in a letter from prison to his parents wrote, "But Dad, I'm not real sorry for what I did, 'cause for the first time, me and Carol have sick more fun." He was reportedly indifferent about his impending death and had become resigned to his fate. Following the execution, Starkweather was buried in Wyoming Cemetery in Lincoln, as are 5 of his victims, including the wards. Fugate was convicted as a compliance and received a life sentence on November 21st, 1958. She was paroled in June 1976 after serving 17 and a half years at the Nebraska Correctional Center for Women in York, Nebraska. She settled in Hillsdale, Michigan. Oh my freaking god, I'm so tired. I'm probably gonna go back to bed after this. But yeah, I'm like half asleep. So this story's kinda, I was stuttering a lot. And I was mispronouncing things a lot. So that's my bad. And also, I'm so sorry if I went through this too fast. And also if I'm quiet. I'm pretty sure everyone in my house is sleeping. So yeah. But yeah, it is now 5:01. I'm tired. So I'm probably gonna go to bed. But yeah, that's the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope people watch this one because I stayed up I mean, I didn't stay up, but I woke up very early for this one. I didn't even intentionally wake up. Like, I just sort of just woke up. No.
It all just kind of happened. 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 It all just kind of happened.
I was like, should I make the video? I haven't made it yet. I was like, sure. It will spare me some time. But yeah, that'll be the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.